The independent investigative panel on the alleged corruption, abuse of power, torture, cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment against the Nigerian Correctional Service has submitted its findings to the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. The interim report of the panel focuses on the findings in relation to investigation into the case of Idris Okuneye, widely known as Bobrisky, and to verify if he served his sentence in any of the Nigerian Correctional Services correctional facilities. Okay, very quickly, let me start first with Dr. Uju-Agomo. Now, the part of the Phase 1 report, as it is otherwise titled, by your committee, set up by Minister Olubunmi Ojo, is about Bobrisky. Whether or not he spent 6 months in a correctional facility in the right place, and whether or not he enjoyed VIP treatment, showing that in this society, certain persons are above the law. What did you find in that regard?
Thank you very much, Ruben. The panel found that from all of the evidence that were before it, including, of course, reports, records, files, interviews of both the inmates and correctional staff, we found thus far that he spent time in custody. And of course, there were instances of him being moved from one custodial center to another. The details I can give you, we can give you that later, if that is an information you require. So what we found is that he actually spent time in custodial center, specifically in the medium security custodial center Kirikiri from 12th of April. By then, on the 22nd of April 2024, he was moved from the medium security custodial center to the maximum security custodial center. Recall that he had been sent to Ikoyi custodial center. So whilst he got to Ikoyi, then that movement happened. However, the panel also found that there were instances of some privileges that he also enjoyed while in the facilities, and those are part of the things that were actually found.
Well, look, Dr. Agomo, let's be very straightforward. Did Bobrisky enjoy VIP treatment, like having access to phones, like having access to internet, like enjoying special services, and is it standard practice in the justice administration system? What complaints did your panel receive from the public? Because the public thought Bobrisky just went to spend time in a 5-star hotel.
Okay, there are 3 things that you have said, and I recall that there's also one aspect of your earlier question that I think I need to clarify. You asked whether he spent 6 months in custody. He didn't spend 6 months in custody because every time that somebody is sentenced, there is almost like an automatic 1/3 remission, which means automatically when you say 1 year, it's not actually one prison year or custodial sentence year. So he spent the time that is, although through that time, at least from the evidence that we had, through that period in custody. So that is the first established fact. The second part, which is also what I responded earlier, and which was also included in the executive summary and in the main report that we circulated, and I believe that the minister also had that circulated to the public, that there were preferential treatment. We listed all of the preferential treatment that we observed both in the medium security custodial center and the preferential treatment that we observed in the maximum security facility in Kirikiri. And the information we had, those of course included, single cells. He was in single cell in both facilities. We had evidence in terms of access to television, access to fridge, access to humidifier, which was explained to us that it was because of his special condition in terms of the particular medication he was using. And then also there were also emails that were attached to him. Now, in terms of whether he had access to phone, the panel strongly believed that it had been the case. And the reason why the panel believes so is because within the maximum custodial facility, the room where he was staying while he was there was padded. But it is part of what we want to deepen in terms of the second phase of our investigation, to do two things. One, to find out whether the kind of preferential treatment that he enjoyed, whether it was because of corrupt practices or whether money exchange hands, or because of the peculiar case. As you know, there are peculiar circumstances in terms of his physique and all of that, and most of that brought a lot of the correctional officers to a situation where they were a little bit worried because they felt that given the way he was looking, it would be not very good to put him in the general population because anything can actually happen. Now, you also asked whether there are other people who benefit from such preferential treatment. And I said yes, because we also observed there are certain cells, which are the VIP cells, both at the medium custodial center and at the maximum custodial center, and to some degree, even at the corridor, not the same kind of facility as the others. And in many custodial centers across the country, that is also something that the panel wants to look more closely into to find out what are the processes that link to this.